Whenever I do the beginning process for a new drawing, it always starts out with the outside of the head. I kind of started doing this when I was a child. It just made sense to me to start from the outside of a shape and then, based on the distances from each other, work your way into it. Sometimes it can be a little bit tricky of a thing to try and do, and as you can see, you have to kind of be flexible enough with yourself to know when you made a mistake with something and just erase it and keep going. I love starting with the eyebrows because it seems like it's the easiest distance to decipher. You kind of just look at the hairline and visually try and see about how much space it's going to take to put the eyebrow where it's meant to be. One of my favorite parts about my drawings have become the eyes, and I guess they were always a favorite of mine alongside hands, but I sort of feel like they're about the same when it comes to difficulty level. When I was first drawing, I would always do the cross shape on the faces to try and make them equal to each other, and I know they're not supposed to be, but I don't know, they would always end up wonky, or I would have a difficulty making the pupils facing in the right direction. So that's kind of where the way I draw eyes was born from. I just didn't really feel like it needed to be perfect, and I don't know, I guess I haven't really thought about what it means to me to draw eyes that way. Maybe it's just something about how I feel like I'm constantly looking in different directions for different things, and I feel like that's sort of a part of being human. Are we ever satisfied? Are we always going to have something else, something new, something different? Will we ever be able to just focus and settle on one thing? Probably not. Working with pens lately has kind of been a bit of an epiphany moment for me. I I don't know, I'm a very controlling person by nature, so that's why I've always gravitated towards pencil. It's not as visually exciting as when something's colored in, of course, but it was something that I felt like if I kept practicing and practicing at, I would eventually learn to get control of. And I ended up spending my entire drawing life up until this point just focusing on controlling pencils. And I realized you kind of have to come at pens with that same mindset if it's something that frightens you, or if it's something that you're worried about messing up, or something permanent. But I guess the thing is if you have a knowledge of where to place things with your pencil, then you kind of just have to jump in with pen and allow it to control you a little bit. Allow it to kind of lighten the pressure of your hand, or make you slow down a little bit and focus on what you're doing. I feel like I've kind of fallen in love with them in place of pencil because it makes me feel present, and that's kind of become the whole goal and focus of my life, is to learn how to just be present and be grateful for the things that are going on in my life right now, rather than desiring things I don't have yet. I've also recently started to find joy in doing backgrounds too. For some reason, I always thought that the forefront of a drawing was all that mattered, and it's kind of like a duality in life kind of thing. Like, you can't have something to catch your eye without something for it to stand out from. And so, I don't know, I'm just really grateful and proud of myself for giving me this space to grow in the way that I have. And if there's one thing that I can pass on to anybody in life, it's to always put 100% of your focus onto the things that you love. You'll see what comes from it.